Well, what's up, Diet Busters? How are you? All right. So we tried to go live, and then Facebook was like, "Hey, your account's locked in. Now you got to secure it." And it's good fun. It's good fun. But we are. Luckily, we have two accounts. So we're live on Brandon's account today. So welcome back to the weekly live show. We were on a little hiatus. Well, not really. We were actually on a long amazing training last week. So if you guys did not catch the Ditch Your Diet workshop last week, there is a different group that it's in. The videos are going to be up for 2 more days, and then we're going to take them down. But we had an amazing time, really dove into why diets don't work, why we need to ditch them, why it's not your fault. And then we revealed the epic formula. So hi, Jen. So we're going to chat about that a little bit. But today we want to talk about some beliefs and some stories and identities and a lot of what we're hearing inside of this group and inside of that workshop group, and kind of go through why that stuff might not be serving you to your highest and what to do instead. So, how you doing today, babe?
I'm doing good. It's a good little Wednesday.
It's a good little Wednesday. A little Wednesday. Okay, so when we say beliefs, how can you explain beliefs to people?
So a belief is essentially it's a feeling, right? Like a belief is no more than a feeling of certainty, right? Like, I mean, hundreds of years ago, right? Like they believed the world was flat, right? And then until we basically debunked that, and now, granted, there's still people that believe the world's flat, but still, right? Like a belief is no more than a feeling of certainty, right? And essentially, a belief, the stronger a belief is essentially the more legs or references I have to support that. Right? And so when we're looking at our beliefs, whether it's regarding nutrition, whether it's regarding relationships, whether it's regarding who you believe you are, right? There's reasons for that, right? Like the more references you have of, you know what, I'm an integral person and I always keep my word. It's because of, I got a laundry list of 25 things that I can reference right now that shows that I'm a very integral person. But also the belief is, well, do I believe I'm a healthy person? Well, I eat nothing but fast food. I smoke. I drink all the time. I think nothing but unhappy thoughts. I do these things. Well, I would like to be a healthy person, but I don't really believe I'm a healthy person, right? And so that's where we comes into, yet again, beliefs and identities kind of can direct these things. Go that direction or no?
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, so it goes into the fact of like how that can kind of guide us on the route or the route in which we're going through is essentially who you believe you are is going to generally dictate your actions for the long run, right? Because oftentimes we get a lot of clients that oftentimes are trying to change the action, but don't inherently change the belief of what it is they're trying to change, right? It's kind of like the person that quits smoking, but inherently believes they're still a smoker, right? Like they're counting the days, but really they're just counting down the days until they start smoking again because that's who they believe they are. Yeah. And so that's why when we're going through all this, you guys, it's not just on a dietary standpoint. And I know a lot of people that get into this group are, what's up, Miss Cat?
Sorry that you're sick, but we're glad you're here.
Are, going through the transition of like, you know what, it's the diet that's my issue. Well, oftentimes from our experience, and we've worked with thousands of people, the diet usually isn't your biggest flaw of where you are with where you're at. It's who you believe you are, what you believe you must do in order to get there, and your association and your essential causation and your thought process of what that does to you internally.
Yeah, and there's something called BIPFAR, which I won't go deep into, but it's a really good thing to understand is that so often, so if you think about a linear sort of
pendulum
equation, whatever. So there's a B, which is your beliefs, right? And then there's the T, which is your thoughts. The F is your feelings, and then the results or the actions and the results, right? And so many of us were like, okay, I have a desired result. I have a different result I want. I'm going to take some action, right? And we can do the action. We can do it for a short amount of time. That's why everyone's so attracted to challenges, right? I can put my head down. I can do it for 75 days or 90 days or whatever it is. But in that time, they might get the result even that they thought they desired, but they end up like coming right back, right? Because if they don't change the thoughts and the feelings and eventually the underlying belief or even understand the underlying belief, it's never going to work, right? So if you believe that in order to lose weight, you have to restrict your calories, never have any fun, don't have any time with your friends, go out, cook different meals for your families. Like if you believe that that's what you have to do to lose weight, you might take that action for a short amount of time, but when you're doing it, what are the thoughts and feelings that you're having, right? You're having these thoughts and feelings that like, I have no life. This is no fun. I just want to enjoy myself. Like, if this is what I have to do, I'm not going to do it, right? And those feelings of lack and limitation and being excluded from doing things with your family, like that stuff is what's going to motivate you. And you're like, that's not worth it, right? If this is what I have to do to get the result, it's totally not worth it, right? And we talked about this yesterday. Jen and I did a live, but the idea that like, it's the when-then game, right? Because most of the time we're not trying to lose weight just to lose weight. It's what are we going to gain, right? We want to be more confident. We want to feel good in our skin. We want to be able to play with our kids. We want all of those things. And so if we don't understand the deeper why, the actions that we take will always fall short of them, because if we're just like, oh, I just want to lose weight. Like if we just want to lose weight, we're not going to understand that we have to change that underlying belief. Okay, it was a little bit of a tangent, but so let's talk about some of the common beliefs, Brandon, that we've seen inside of this group and inside of last week's workshop that a lot of people are maybe struggling with.
Well, I think a couple of things that tend to come up, right, is the first one, and we see this because, yet again, those that don't know us, we have our own brick and mortar gym. We've had it for 12 years now, and we've been doing this for upwards of 20 years. And the common thing that we see oftentimes that come to us on a exercise and fitness standpoint is, well, I can't come see you guys until I get fit, right? Until I get a certain amount of fitness, then I'll come see you guys. Or on the other sense is it, well, I know what I should be doing, but I just don't do it, right? Like I know what you guys are going to tell me to do, but I just don't do it. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Tiffany. Yeah, and I think that's a big one we've been hearing a lot. Well, I know what to do, I just don't do it. And it's like, okay, well, there's two things to that. Is A, I think that there's so much bad information that you probably don't actually know what to do, because we talked about this a million times. There's been 60 different diets in 60 different years. So you might not actually know what to do. But the bigger piece of that is like, okay, well, if you know what to do, why aren't you doing it, right? And it's not willpower, it's not self-sabotage, it's none of that stuff. And that's what we teach, right? So that's what we teach inside of our programs, is that it's the deeper stuff of, your human needs and your values and your goals and your desires and understanding your purpose. Like, that's the reason you're not doing it, right? It's not, and the beliefs and the stories, right? It's not that you don't know what to do, right? I think we talked about this the other day. Like, if I said, if you're trying to be a healthy human, should you go have fast food, or should you have, a meal that has some meat and some veggies and some healthy carbohydrates at home? Like 99% of you are going to be like, well, yeah, duh. Like, fast food is probably not the healthiest option. But in a real life scenario, why are we having fast food? Why are we doing those things, right? And so if you don't ever look at the why, you can take all of the right actions and get zero results, because you still have these beliefs that, what you have to do to get results is completely wrong. And until we look at that deeper stuff, you really don't know what you have to do.
Well, unfortunately, I think oftentimes, and yet again, I think it's a cultural thing of what we do, right? We love to put Band-Aids on bullet holes, right? Like, we love to, there's a symptom and I'm going to fix it with this ingredient, right? And it's kind of the same thing, like, well, if I have a sick fish, I don't treat the fish, I treat the fish tank, right? Like, I gotta fix the fish tank, the water, its environment, its filtration. I gotta fix that, because that's the root cause. And just by pure association of fixing the root cause, the fish will get healthy and better, right? But we do, unfortunately, when it comes to us, is, oh, I'm overweight because of this, right? As opposed to looking at the years and the things that you've gone through over your life, and the associations you have, the environment you have, the friends that you have, the things you've been around for years, the thought process you have, the beliefs you have about yourself. Those are ultimately the biggest thing in your life, because honestly, what we teach when it comes to a nutrition standpoint is very simple. Right? Like, you can ask every single person that has been enrolled in our program, has gone through our program. It is very simple. It's not some crazy mathematical equation that all of a sudden is a different methodology that hasn't been around for thousands of years. It is very simple and very easy to implement. But we also know at different phases of your life that process is going to change, right? So we're not here to say there's one way to get to the destination you want to. Right? There's a million different ways. What we are more in line with of trying to find out is helping you discover why, right? Is getting to the root cause as to why. Because if you can understand the root cause and the why, at any phase of your life, you are going to be empowered, because you get to change your thought process, and you get to identify from a conscious place of like, well, is that realistic? Is that going to fit me? Is that going to lead me down to long-term success? Because unfortunately, if the group you're in on this, you guys, is a quick fix and a diet fix, this is not the group for you. Our group here is to help you for long-term sustainable success that is enjoyable, that you can implement at any time frame of your life, and that you get to be the person of empowerment.
Yeah. So what we talked about last week was we were talking about the EPIC formula, right? And so that's the formula. We launched a new program. We'll tell you guys about that, but it's a 90-day program. But really, it's what the EPIC formula is a simple 4-step process, right? And that's what's hard so much. Is it's like I can do this crazy thing over here and that crazy thing over here and this crazy thing, and it's like no, like we want you guys to have a simple formula that's easy to follow, right? So the EPIC formula, you guys, is education, purpose, intention, and creation. Okay. So hopefully when I say those words, that sounds nothing like dieting. Because if that sounds like dieting, we have completely missed the boat on what we're trying to get you guys to understand. Okay, so in a super simple way. So education is, understanding yourself, your physiology, your psychology, your emotions, your breath, your just all of the things, right? It's the beliefs and the stories and all of that kind of stuff. Because if you don't understand yourself, if you don't understand your actions, if you don't understand what you're doing, you're never going to be able to take the correct actions, right? And we talk about this all the time, though, that like education without action is definitely not power, right? Education is not power. Using the education and applying it, that's where the power comes in.
Potential power.
Potential power. Yeah. Do you want to do the P?
Purpose. So on that, you guys, it's understanding, because most of the times what we run into is I don't feel motivated today. I have this thing that I started a week ago, right? Like there's a reason why, 85% of people by January 15th fall off their New Year's resolution, right? Because they have this thing of what they want, but they don't have the purpose behind it. They don't really understand the why behind it. Well, it sounds good on paper, but once I get up against that inevitable friction or that obstacle that's guaranteed to be there, well, I'm not so bad, right? Like I'll go back to what I know. I'll make my bed in it. I can handle it. It wasn't really that bad, right? But it's on the other. It's like, no, I want to get on the other side of this because I want to go play with my kids. I want to go hike a 14er. I want to go skiing for the first time in my life. I want to put on an outfit, and not only do I want to put that outfit on, I want to look myself in the mirror and say, damn it, I am so proud of you. You look amazing, right? Like those are way different circumstances and way different whys than just like, I don't know, I'm doing this because my neighbor did it and this is what I'm supposed to do, right? Like the outcome could be the same, but the procedure and the process to get there, two completely different outcomes, right? So, or two different, completely emotional experiences, right? And the part that we hopefully are hoping bridge the gap for you is understanding that everything you do is based off your feelings and your emotions. What you associate you're going to get with that, or what you associate is going to cause you further detriment. Right? Like those two things really dictate what we move towards or what we move away from. And so if I don't have the purpose of like, if I'm going through this time of challenge, this challenge right now is really a daunting task. It is a hard task, but if I know I get on the other side of that, the outcome is going to be far better than what I'm experiencing right now. That is way better than the side of like, well, I'm on this restrictive diet. I can't eat the things that I want to. I can't go out with my friends in my life. And so that, on the other end, is going to cause us to pull away, right? So the purpose behind that is creating drive.
Yeah, I think the other side of purpose, though, and I want to touch on this really briefly, is when we teach nutrition, because nutrition is part of what we teach, we want you to understand what do things do inside of your bodies, because our bodies are not that simple, right? The calories in, calories out, like it's not the whole story, right? I'm gonna be nice about that. It's not the whole story. There's so many other things that go on inside of your body. So that's part of what we teach is like, what do those nutrients, what do those micronutrients do? What's going on with your lymphatic system? How does stress affect you? There's so many more things in like the purpose of what you're doing. And that was a big thing for me because like I had eating disorders and I had all the things. And once I started to really trust that food was my friend, right? That food was there to help me get to my goals because I understood what it was doing inside of my body, then it got a lot easier to let go of dieting because there was a trust in the understanding not of only my why, but what was going on when I ate the food, right? So I just wanted to say that. And then the I of epic. So we have education, purpose, excuse me, and intention. This is my word for the year, right? It's doing things. Hi, Lily. Hi, Maddie. And congrats to both of you for jumping in and joining us for the next 90 days. We're so excited to have you guys. But intention is the biggest thing, you guys, right? Like, why are you doing things? What's the intention behind it, right? I shared this last week, but like my intention for 80% of my life was doing things so that I didn't hate my body. Well, that's a real crummy, low energy intention, right? What if you shift the intention of, I want to love my body, right? Because if you're dieting to not hate your body, that just feels like, bleh, right? There's nothing motivating about that. There's no purpose. There's no excitement. But when the intention is, well, I want to love my body. So then you go, well, if I did love my body, what would I do? Well, I would let it sleep and I would exercise it and I would talk good things about it. I would say good things about it. I would treat it like someone I cared about. Like that all shifts completely just from that intention, right? And so an intention is understanding what is your intention behind things. And then always taking intentional action, right? And the intention can be, we're going on a date night and I want to have a glass of wine because I enjoy it and it's our time together. That's a completely fine intention, right? The intention doesn't have to be 100% of the time. All I ever do is hustle and drive it. Like, no, but you got to know your intention, right? And so that's the I, and then what's the C?
Well, I think I'm just going to piggyback off that real quick is, just in that example, because I think both of us has experienced that in some shape or some form. As we've gone through our own journey through being athletes, coaches, and everything else is, well, it's date night, and I have this drink or I'm going to have this beer or this glass of wine, and I'm not going to allow myself to really enjoy this because I'm feeling guilty as all hell. I'm really afraid that this is going to derail me and it's going to really just sabotage all my hard work, right? Versus on the other side of my intention of this is going to enhance my experience and this is going to allow me to have better connection with her and this is our time that we get to spend together, right? Like the action's the exact same thing, right? But literally, this isn't just a thing thrown out into the universe.
Yeah,
this is literal. How that is going to be metabolized and digested into your system is going to be completely two different things because of the hormonal and the chemical responses associated with that. So it's not just on the sense of like, well, give yourself some grace just because it sounds good. But no, it's on the sense of like, well, why are you doing that? What's the intention behind this? Because the intention literally secretes different functions in your body internally, right? And so if we can help bridge that gap of understanding, like, you can enjoy your time, because unfortunately I've done that where I've been so afraid of, well, God forbid I go over my macros or I have a beer with some friends and all of a sudden it's going to sabotage my whole week's worth of work. It doesn't work like that. But if I associate and my intention behind there is negative, it's going to turn negative. Right? And so it's being able to be more conscious around these things, right? And that's where creation comes into it.
Can I say really quick? So I want you guys to hear this. If you believe that calories in and calories out actually are the only thing that make your body shift, listen to what he just said. Like, there is so much more deeper, there's so much deeper stuff. And I can attest to this. Like, I lived in that fear state where I starved myself and I lived on 300-400 calories a day. My body didn't change. But when I shifted the intention and I actually fueled my body, and yes, I still drink wine almost every weekend. And has it sabotaged my life? No, it hasn't, because I'm in the intention of being present and enjoying. So like, I just please, you guys, understand that there's math in calories, but it's just not the whole story. And I just want you guys to hear that. If you heard nothing else today, please hear that. Okay, now you can go on to.
Well, and then creation, right? Like, if we can put all those pieces together, education, purpose, intention, you get to be the creator, right? And yet again, we've been doing this a very long time. And if there was an overwhelming sense of a lot of people that walk through our doors is we feel beat down, right? We feel beat down. We feel like we don't have a choice. We feel like we're going down the river of life. And all of a sudden we realize Niagara Falls is just on the other side of us and we don't have a paddle, right?
And life is happening.
And life is happening to you, right? And so it's on the sense of understanding that life is happening for you. And I mean, I don't know a lot of your guys' stories. I don't know a lot of your guys' experience, but I know from my own life is the times in which I thought were the most detrimental and the most challenging times of my life. Yes, like going through those sucked really, really bad. But I also look back at those times and I get to be thankful and appreciative of those times of knowing, like, first off, if those scenarios worked out at the time that the way that I thought I wanted them to, my life would be completely different. But at the same time, I wouldn't be the same person I am now and able to reflect and know and be able to look and understand how strong or how appreciative or grateful that I am of this moment right now in this time because of those prior moments, right? And perhaps oftentimes it's understanding that those times, maybe that might be you right now, of feeling like life's just dragging you through the mud. Maybe right now life is giving you the best gift of all, which is challenging you to step into the real version and the person you could and are supposed to be, and show yourself these things by just taking different actions. Right? Like, and I'm not talking like, for some of you guys, it might be monumental, massive action. For some of you guys, it's putting steps like this over and over and over and over and over again to really get yourself out of the place you are. But so often we feel like we're trying to get ourselves out of a hole with a shovel, right? And we just continue to dig and do the same thing over and over. When really all you need to do is look over and next to you is a ladder. Right? So it's understanding that you get to be the creator of these things. It's putting together all the simple steps that lead to that. And I know for a lot of you guys, and it goes back to the belief is, well, I've never done this before in my life. Shoot, before there was a plane, nobody had ever done that before, right? Before, how many things in this world do we have right now? Before there was a phone, we couldn't do this, right? But now there's so many things that we have on a day-to-day basis that we take for granted, but somewhere in line, somebody had to do it for the first time.
Yep. And I think, just to point out, you guys, the opposite of creation is control. And for most of us, if we're in a diet world, we're in that energy of control and constriction and, oh my God, what if, fear and all of that stuff. And like, I just want you guys to understand that when you have the education and the purpose and the intention and you step into the creator, it is the most powerful, beautiful, amazing thing, because I was also a control freak. I'm a recovered control freak because now I know I can create it. He lived through that, you guys. Like, I get to create my experience and we get to create our lives and we get to create what we believe and break down old stories. And like, it's the most beautiful process ever. And like, we were talking about some of the people that enrolled in the 90-day, and there's some fear around like, well, I don't know what that's going to look like. Cool, you don't need to, right? Like, you don't have to know, because if you'd already done it, then there wouldn't be any point in being here, right? So let's talk about that, you guys. So enrollment is open. Okay, so we did that workshop. We are launching a brand new program. It's called the 90-day Shift Transformation. Okay, when you guys hear the word transformation, I want you to truly understand that this is going to transform your life. We're not going to transform your diet. Yes, we'll teach you nutrition, but this is going to transform your life. It's going to transform how you look, how you feel, how you see yourself, what you understand about the world, what you understand about yourself, all of those pieces. Like, on the other side of this 90 days, you're going to feel completely different, right? So what is it, you guys? So it's 90 days. We start next Monday, which is April 11th. Okay, so enrollment does close on Friday. So that's 2 days from now. But the program is going to take you guys through, we have modules. Okay, so there's weekly modules where we really dive into what is the education. There's going to be, a nutrition plan, but we believe in the 4 pillars. Okay, so mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual. You get all of that, right? So you get weekly modules where we dive really more into the emotional, mental, that side of life, the beliefs and the stories and curiosity and communication and all of this kind of stuff. So you have one of those. There's 8 of them in the 12 weeks. So there'll be some weeks where you can catch up. Because sometimes this stuff comes at you a little fast and you're like, oof, I don't know what those beliefs are. I need a little more time, right? So you get integration weeks, but there's a membership site where stuff will be released bi-weekly for you guys. And then you get weekly coaching. And so this is a big thing that we added. Hi, Sue Ellen. Sue Ellen is also joining us. The weekly coaching, you guys, is really going to be that safe space where this is what we want you to understand. This is a coached program. Okay, this is not a login, follow along, see what happens. This is a coached program, because when you are coached, 2 things happen. A, we get to ask you questions that you might not have thought about, because the job for us as a coach is to ask you questions. We don't have the answers of what's inside of you. You have them. But our job is to hold space for you, let you know that you're safe, let you know that you can trust this process, and to ask you those questions. Okay, so it's a group coaching call. This has not been something we've done with any of our other programs before, so this is a huge, huge deal. So weekly coaching calls, there are 8 different meditations in there. If you guys haven't heard my story about meditation, it changed my entire life. And it's happening for all the people inside of our group that was like, I don't know about meditation. You can ask Jen about her story. It shifts everything, right? So there's meditations in there, there's workbooks, right? But really it's just a safe space for you to lean in, do something different, and get a different result, right? So yes, there's nutrition, but we're gonna teach you Brandon's a science guy, right? He's gonna teach you all the stuff about hormones and your lymphatic system and why it's not just calories and how to understand your body. Not my body, not Brandon's body, your body. Because when you can do that, forever, you'll be able to do that, right? You won't need us. And we love you and we hope that you stay a super fan, but we want you to actually have the tools and the system and the strategy to do you and be the happiest, healthiest version of you, okay? So that program launches Monday. So here's the really, really cool thing that we did. So we launched last week. The price of the program was $1,297. And we talked to a lot of people in that group. And that was a number that was just outside of where people could really be right now. So we're really here to serve you guys, and I hope you feel our hearts. So we actually dropped it 50%, you guys, because we connected with so many of you last week, and we were like, we just want them to do this, and we wanted you to have that belief that this really could be different. So the paid in full price now is $588. But even better than that, if you want to pay weekly, we created a weekly payment plan. It's $49 a week. $49. What do you spend $49 on? And if you go to Starbucks, I know you spend $49 on Starbucks. So I want you guys to lean in and go, what would happen if I really transformed my life? If between now and July 11th, I leaned in, I did the inner work, I let go of the stories, I let go of the fear, and I actually allowed myself to do something different. Because I can tell you that on July 11th, you will be happy, you will be healthy, you will be so excited that you took this step and that you joined us. So we'll drop the link if you guys want to get involved in that. If you're a little more curious and you want to know more about the Epic Formula and why Diet 7 works for you, we can put you inside of the Diet Busters group. Just send me a message, send Jen a message. Probably don't message Brandon, that's not his jam. But send Jen or I a message, Jen B, if you guys don't know who Jen is. Send us a message, we can tag you in those videos and you can go watch them. It was 3 hours of training last week and there was a lot of value there. So if you're intrigued and you want to know more, let us know. But otherwise, we'll drop the link to sign up. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for always being here. Tag a friend in this video. If you're curious about doing the program, grab a buddy. It's always, 95%?
Yeah, success with the accountability front, like a specific accountability front. Yes. Yeah.
So grab a buddy, do this with them, and it will just be amazing. So we appreciate you guys. We'll be back for next week's live show. But until then, if you watch the replay, do a #replay. And if you have questions, let us know. We are here to support you and to serve you. So have an amazing Wednesday, guys. See you soon.
Thanks, y'all.